Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, and welcome to In the Classroom. I am your host and your guest instructor, Tonya Lewis Taylor. And we are excited because we have an amazing young man with us this afternoon by the name of Marc John Jefferies. Can you guys give it up, clap it up, guys, for Marc John Jefferies. Marc John Jefferies is a prolific actor and producer straight out of the Boogie Down Bronx. He is famously known for his roles in culture classics, such as Losing Isaiah with Halle Berry, Get Rich or Die Trying with 50 Cent. He was featured in Power, Superman 2, The Haunted Mansion, Stuart Little, Big Mama's House, and he played the iconic rapper Notorious B.I.G. in the Brooklyn Legend movie Notorious. Jefferies began his career as a child model, but blossomed into an actor. He not only stays busy by being a cast member of the Showtime's original series, City on a Hill, but he also trains actors to discover their own unique talents and gifts at his own acting academy, MJJ Acting Studios. I want you guys to give a big In the Classroom welcomes to our guest, Marc John Jefferies. Come on, clap it up, guys.
Classroom.
All right, mute your phones back. Marc, how are you? It's so good to have you.
I'm doing good, and yourself?
I'm doing well. That smile, that's the $1 million smile right there.
Appreciate it.
How you been?
I've been good, can't complain, just navigating COVID, but other than that, been good.
Great minds think alike. We both have on yellow. You got on a little more mustard, but we in the same family.
Yeah, we same blend, you know.
Okay, and we both got the smiles.
We do.
Yes.
We definitely do. Yes, we do.
Well, it is so good to finally meet you. When I read your bio, the word that came to me was diligent. And diligent is our word of the day. It is an adjective, and it means having or showing care and conscientiousness in one's work or duty. What does that word mean to you? Diligent.
I personally feel like we live in a society today where people's direction in their lives are kind of something that they never consider, or they consider it a bit too late, you know? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't understand that your younger years is the foundation of who you become as an adult. So fortunately, I had parents that were mindful of the path they wanted to start me on. And then once I got old enough to understand, you know, what I was doing and developed goals in myself, I would feel like diligence is what kicks in when you completely devote your being to becoming who you're meant to be.
That is amazing.
And it's just it's a nurturing, it's a mindfulness that kind of overtakes you once you set out that path, you know, and to where you just continue on that journey and you find different ways to adjust to the different roadblocks and things that may come up until you reach your goal.
That's amazing insight. And you said something that was important. You said you had parents that helped steer you in that path. So did you know that you started out as a child model, but mm-hmm. Was it something that you wanted to do, or mom and dad just saw that they can make some money off that smile? What was it?
Okay, so my dad was a photographer, right? Mm-hmm. And he he held the account for American Express and like Kids R Us when I was born. And he was working on an American Express campaign, and they were showing how easy it was to swipe your card at the ATM. And the baby that they had got sick last minute. And his partner on the shoot was like, you got a son? Let's use him. He was like, my son is 3 weeks old. He just came home from the hospital. And his friend was like, well, we shoot tomorrow. We can't recast. So then that's how I got my first gig. Wow. And then after the shoot, my dad's partner was like, this sounds weird, but he's photogenic for a baby. You should get him into modeling. So then he put my dad in touch with a modeling company. And I never stopped working as a model. And modeling turned into my first commercial at 2, which turned into my first movie at 3 years old, Losing Isaiah. So I would say that it's not a path that I chose, but it's a path that I stuck with because I actually did enjoy it once I became old enough to understand like what it was that I was doing, you know? And my parents were just very big on making sure that myself, my brother, and my sister always felt and knew that whatever you want to do, you can actually do it. You know, like sometimes the scope of the things that we want may not be realistic because of others that are decision makers at the end of the day have to say yes. But regardless of what you want to do, you could do it. And my parents always instilled that idea in us.
That's good. That's good advice right there. I have 4 children, and that's what I instill in them. So kudos, great parents. Tell me now, so you were born in the Boogie Down Bronx. Tell us, I want to know everything about you. Where were you born? Where did you go to high school? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, yeah, I was born in the Bronx, born and raised on 164th and Woody Crest.
Okay.
I lived there till I was like 10 or 11. We built a house in Pennsylvania for my grandmother, and unfortunately, she passed while it was still being built. So when I was like, I want to say 10, I was either 10 or 11, and we ended up just expanding the house and temporarily moving to PA, came back to the Bronx, had the house in PA, but started living on University, 1344 University. And then I went to LA when I was, how old was I? I was 12, and I was shooting Stuart Little 2 in New York.
Wow.
And the director on Stuart Little 2 was like, hey, we got this other movie we're working on, Haunted Mansion. It's a Disney movie. We're interested in you playing one of the leads. Come in and audition. So went, auditioned for Haunted Mansion, booked it, flew out to LA, was there for like 9 months shooting Haunted Mansion, came back to the Bronx, was home for like, I want to say 3 months, and then randomly got a call. Hey, Marc, we got auditions for you out in LA. And you know, you'll go, I think I flew out on Thursday, and our flights back were on Monday. Flew out to LA, ended up not coming home for 2.5 years later.
Wow, because you were working nonstop.
I booked what I flew out there for, and I started shooting like 2 weeks after our audition, so it didn't even make sense to come home.
Wow.
You know? Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm a New Yorker to the core, born and raised, like born and bred. And my mom is a teacher.
In the New York City public school system?
Yeah, Gary Morgan. She taught at CES 132 for over 30 years now, and she just got her license to be an AP.
Are you serious? We gotta definitely make sure we connect with Mom. Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
That is amazing. So she didn't play. You had to get good grades in school, right?
Oh, that was a must. Like my dad didn't play. Forget my mom. My dad, that's right. Like, just because you're an actor doesn't mean you're gonna be dumb. You know, right. So when I was on set, my man used to give me, he had me doing long-term division at like 7, 8 years old.
As he should.
When I was in the 2nd grade, the 5th grade teacher used to bring me up to the 5th grade classroom and have me doing like geometry and geometry, teaching geometry to the 5th grade students. Like my parents did not play.
I love it. I have an 85 rule in my house. Nothing under 85 better not walk in my house, or I will end your world. So I understand, honey. Yeah. I like your mother and your dad already.
Yup.
I love it. I love it. So while we're talking about school, guess what time it is, Marc?
What time is it?
It's time for a pop quiz.
All right, let's get it.
So I was told that your favorite subject when you were in school was creative writing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a pop quiz for you.
Oh boy.
Yes, we do. All right, so I'm not going to be too rough on you. So here we go. Name one of the types of writing. There are 4 main types of writing. Name one.
4 main types of writing. Let me see.
I'll give you one. Expository.
You take me back to like the 5th grade. Hold on.
Descriptive.
And descriptive was the one that I was going to say. You took my...
Okay. Well, there's 2 more. 2 more. When you write a paragraph, it's considered with an N. Nah.
You're going to have to give me the answers.
Narrative.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Look,
Okay.
kids, they put me on the spot, all right? They put me on the spot. I haven't. Okay, so
I love it.
So I'm gonna say this, right? Creative writing was my favorite subject. I've always been the kind of person where I'm very free mentally, right? Like I love to create. So like creative writing was something that it helped me channel. It made me a better actor.
Absolutely.
Because I was big on writing poetry. I used to love writing poetry in school. I published my own book series. I had a book series in Barnes and Noble, Scholastic, on Fast Track with the school systems. And like creative writing was one of those things that I never really took to the structure of writing per se. Not meaning that I can't, I don't use proper grammar when it comes to writing and things like that, but just I feel like it helped me understand story. It helped me understand substance. It helped me understand how to connect and get emotions on the page, if that makes sense. And then I took it for a year, maybe in like the 8th grade or the 9th grade or something like that. But now to this day, like I write almost every day.
Do you journal?
I don't journal. I'm more so, I'm a random idea dude. So I could be sitting here talking to you and you may say something that sparks this train of thought. And then I'll turn that idea into a story.
That's good. That's good. That's a gift. That's actually a gift. That's a gift because whatever you hear, you are able to now put it on paper into a story. That's a gift. That's part of your gifting.
Yeah.
That's good.
Appreciate
That's
it.
real good.
Appreciate it.
So how important would you say education has been in your process?
Very important. I mean, you can't, I would say this. It's hard to be successful when you're dumb.
I know that's right.
It's very hard. I don't care what goal you have in life, education is necessary. Like even, it doesn't matter what you do, basketball players, football players, doctors, lawyers, teachers, firefighters, police officers, everybody has to have a form of education. It's important for life. Even if it's not for your job per se, it's important for life, right. And I feel like a lot of people wait too long to start taking education seriously. So then you get these people that are in their 30s and they're just going back and trying to learn principles and values and things that they should have taken in school. That's right. And one thing I speak at schools a lot in my downtime. One thing I always tell the students, I'm like, bro, you're going to be here. You got to be here anyway. You can't not go to school until you're 18? So you got to be in school anyway. So you're either going to sit in school until you're 18 years old, wasting all of this time. And now you got to spend more time because now you got to do summer school and all of this other stuff, or you're going to take it seriously, do what you need to do. So that way, once you hit 18, the world is really your oyster, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people that just don't have the discipline, because I feel like taking to school and education it's a discipline that needs to be instilled in you. And if you don't have, and sometimes it's not always your parent, right? Or your parents, but if you don't have that figure in your life, or you don't develop that discipline yourself to realize and understand, like, okay, this is going to matter 5 years from now. This is going to matter 10 years from now. Then you won't take it seriously and you're going to learn that lesson later on. And then it's hard to teach old dogs new tricks.
I know that's right. I mean, you said a mouthful. And what's so interesting about what you said is that if you're going to be in school, at least get something out of it, because you got to be there anyway, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I think that's amazing. But let me ask you this question. So you did traditional schooling? Was it you graduated from high school?
So I went to TAG, Talented and Gifted in Harlem, until the 3rd grade. And then from then on, I was homeschooled. But when I got to high school, my school was an actual school in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I just did the online curriculum. And then I had like private tutors on set that would come on and teach me each subject, but following the curriculum of the online school.
So if the pandemic had hit back then, you would have been good because you were already doing online stuff, right?
Yeah, I was on all of that. Like, I was good.
Gotcha.
I would have been good.
Gotcha. Well, we're catching up. We didn't have a choice, but so tell me about the schooling that you developed from playing alongside of the amazing actors that you've had. Like, what was it like working with Halle Berry? Like, do you remember? You were so young.
I remember vague things. I don't really remember. I didn't have any takeaways from it because I was so young. So I don't really remember any real takeaways, but I've worked with a lot of great actors, you know, and I'm the kind of person, I'm a student of life. Like, I look for what I can learn in every situation. There's a lesson in everything, both good and bad experiences, you know? That's so great. Actually, a friend of mine, unfortunately passed last week, and I wasn't able to fly out and see him before he passed, right? He was on life support, brain dead. And my friend FaceTimed me and was letting me say like my final words to my friend before they pulled the plug. And I screenshot the screen with my friend's picture in the bed before I hung up. So a friend of mine was like, why did you screenshot the picture? Like, what is that? That's how you want to remember him? And I'm like, I look for lessons in everything. And this picture is going to serve as a reminder, right? I haven't formulated for myself what it's going to remind me of. You know, it may remind me that never take time for granted. It may remind me that we can't let the sun set in a provoked state with our brothers or sisters or friends or family. It may remind me, you know, to make sure that all of the things that I want to do, I chase each and every day. I don't know what the lesson will be, but there's a lesson in every experience. And I would say being on set, working with a lot of the greats, now that I'm older, and since I've been old enough to kind of retain the information, it's a lot of beauty that's learned, man, just through watching them. You know, like watching Eddie, just learning and understanding how you got to make sure that you got to make sure that what you're bringing to the table is always your best.
When you say Eddie, I just want to clarify for the young
Eddie
ones.
Murphy.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. He played my dad in The Haunted Mansion. And he became like one of my mentors. And he taught me so much, you know, so much, so many different lessons that I wouldn't have been where I'm at now had it not been for him. Amari Hardwick, great mind. Like, Amari is one of the sharpest, most in tune, just like artistic, creative, genuine people that I've ever met. Forget actors, like people, you know, and I feel like a lot of times people don't understand their influence. Sometimes the information that you feel is garbage, right? Or you feel doesn't matter, or you feel is common knowledge can change a person's life. You know, and then sometimes being the person that's receiving the information, sometimes we listen for what we're looking for and not for what a person is offering. And if you are that kind of person, you'll miss out on a lot of lessons, or you'll learn a lot of lessons years later that you should have learned early on.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So one of the things I think I heard you say is that mentorship, to summarize, is really important because you've received so many great mentors in the business that you are in.
Mm-hmm. Yup.
Tell me about, how was it working with 50 Cent and on Get Rich or Die Trying? You were amazing. Let me tell you, young man, woo, you did that thing.
I appreciate it.
Yes, you did.
I appreciate it. I try.
You did that
That was
thing.
dope. Working with 50 was dope. Yeah, 50 is
50.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a good dude. Like, and the reason why every time somebody asks me about 50, that's my reaction. I'm like, yo, 50 is, and the reason why I always have that reaction is because 50 is everything that you think him to be,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow the opposite.
Wow.
Like, he's such a smart, calculated individual to where, but the persona that he puts out is really him.
Yeah.
But it's because he's so smart that he even has that as a side of him. Like, it's hard to describe, but when he
turned it into a character. Like, he made himself a character, but it's also part of his natural personality.
It's like, that's who he is, right? Like 50, who you see is who he is.
Yes.
But who he became is the scary part. Like 50 is one of those people where he somehow, all of his experience and all of his success has changed him for the better, but while he still is the same person at the core.
And that really is a testament to staying grounded in this business and staying focused. And so what keeps you grounded in this business?
Family. Upbringing, being raised right. You know, like, it's all about your foundation. If you don't have a foundation, then you're not a tall, strong, standing structure. You could build a deck of cards on the table, but what happens when you blow a little bit? It falls over, you know? So it's just like, I feel like, and that's why I say when you're young, it's so important because that's where your foundation starts from. So my dad being on set with me, he was the biggest person on, don't call him Mr. Jefferies. He's 10 years old. He's Marc. No, don't go get him his juice. He's 13. He go get it himself. And he used to tell me all the time, look, whatever treatment you get on set, don't think that that's how it is when you come home. When you in my house, you're the child. You're my son. I'm the parent. What I say goes. So don't ever, don't get that twisted. And my dad from the Bronx too. Okay. My father's from Harlem actually, and then he grew up in the Bronx. So my parents made sure that, like, yeah, you may be a celebrity to them, but you Marc to us.
That's right.
And we spank our kids. Like, that's right. Like my pops, my mom did not play that. And then and then you got to believe in something, man. My parents raised me to believe in God, and I personally cherish my relationship, with God, Jehovah, my spirituality. Yes, and it's just like, when you have those things in line, it's hard to be led astray. But when you step into this new world and everything that you've always thought you can want is at your disposal, if you don't know who you are at that point in life, you're going to become whoever your influences are. So when you got people offering you this and trying to take you here and putting this battery in your back, hyping you up, saying that you're the man, or let's go here and do this crazy stuff. If you don't know who you are, if your family and your identity hasn't already started to be shaped, then you're going to allow whoever's next to you, whatever experiences you have, to start creating who you think you are. And then once you burn out, or once you lose value to those people around you, and now that influence leaves, and now you stuck looking at yourself like, who am I? And then you find yourself cutting your hair, going bald, going into rehab, and all in and out of all these different relationships, in and out of all these different religions, and you're searching for yourself. And that's because your foundation was never built, you know? So I think my parents just did a good job with that. Like my pops used to tell me all the time, look, I don't care who you with. You raise your voice at me, I knock you out.
I know that's right.
You talk to my wife, that's my wife. You talk to my wife crazy, I'm knocking you out.
That's it.
You know, like,
that's
you know, it raised you with a certain thing. And my father used to always say, children are always raised by somebody.
Mm.
It may not always be your parent, but somebody's going to raise this child. And depending on who it is, determines who that child is going to be. And he's like, ain't nobody raising nobody else that's living in my house.
That's right.
I remember one time I came home, I was playing ball and I broke my drawstring on my shorts. So I was like 17, 18. I walked in the house and I had like my shirt off and my pants was sagging a little bit. My shorts were sagging because the drawstring was gone. Yo, my father yoked me by my shoulder. He was like, yo. Why you sagging what's up with that? Why you sagging your shorts? I'm like, I ain't have a drawstring. He like, you ain't have a drawstring? Well, you got clothes in the other room, right? That's the first place you should have went. Don't walk around my house with showing your boxes. Me and your mother changed your diapers. We don't want to see your drawers as a grown man.
I know that.
You know, it's like, all right, dog, dang. You know, and then I passed that lesson to my little brother. I'm like, yo, don't sag your pants. Don't do that. Don't let dad see your drawers. Like, that's a no-no. He gonna postal on you. Yeah, man, but it's like some of the smallest things just stick with you, you know, and yeah, and that helped me become who I am today.
It's funny because as you was recounting the story of your dad, I didn't feel so bad because I'm an old school mama. I was raised by old women, and old church women. They didn't play, and you got to do right. And my mom and my dad were no joke, and so I have that in me. And sometimes I feel like I'm too hard, but when I listen to your story, honey, I know I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Thank you, honey. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, because my thing is too, like, my parents disciplined to discipline, never out of anger, never to hurt us.
That's right.
You know, that was never their goal. And since it never came from a place of anger or aggression, it was never received the wrong way. Like, and they explained it to us. Like, my dad used to sit me down and be like, so you understand what you did, right? And I'll be like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. He like, all right, so you got two options. We either make sure this never happens again, or I knock you out right now and we're gonna make sure it never happens again. But it's never gonna happen again.
Ooh, I know that's right.
And I'll be like, I don't want to get knocked out because I was about to go outside. So we're gonna make sure this never happened again. And then in certain instances, if it happened again, depending on the circumstance, it's like, look, man, what I told you. And then other times it was, nah, we got to stop that right here and now, because that can't be one of your habits that you grow up with, and you'll thank me for this later.
Ooh.
So yeah, man.
You have amazing parents. Give it up for your parents. Why don't you clap it up for your parents? They did that. They did that.
Yeah.
Well, it's lunchtime. It is lunchtime, and as being a product of New York City, and you did go to public school, we have a lunchtime question. What do you prefer, peanut butter and jelly or the grilled cheese?
Dang. All right, so I was always a peanut butter and jelly dude. Like in school, even when I used to go visit my mom's school, peanut butter and jelly and tacos. The school tacos are bomb. They fire. Public school tacos, the ham and cheese sandwiches, y'all can keep those. Those ham and cheese, the pizza, nasty. Right? The fried chicken cutlet with the mashed potato, and keep that. The nasty French fries with the burger with the hard bun and the old ketchup, nah. But the chocolate milk with the peanut butter and jelly, or the tacos, yeah, that's it right there.
Listen, what happened when we grew up? We ain't getting no tacos. What happened? I didn't even know they served tacos in school.
Yeah, tacos is fire. What?
Okay, well, I grew up in the let me lie, this the 90s. No, I actually was in school in the 80s. Lord, I was in college in the 90s. That's telling my age, but I still look good.
Yeah, black don't crack. You know what I'm saying?
We have some students who have some amazing, would like to ask you some questions. So we're going to open up the floor to our students. First, we have Kayla Billingy Stevens. Kayla, can you unmute your microphone and ask your question? Kayla Billingy Stevens.
Hi, my name is Kayla. I'm a freshman in John Jay School for Law High School. And my question today is, how does it feel to still be acting knowing other child stars end up having rough lives or tragic stories?
That's a good question. It feels good. Yeah, it definitely feels good. It feels good to still be connected and successful at something that I cherish, you know, and then it's just rewarding too, because it's like, I'm glad I listened to my parents and my teachers that had such a big influence on me, because my life could have turned out very different.
That's a good question. Thank you so much, Kayla. Thank you, Marc, for that answer. What is the best advice any of your co-stars have ever given you?
Ooh. First thing that comes to mind, I was 15 or 16 years old, and I was at Eddie Murphy's house, and it was literally like Black actor and comedian heaven, right? Like Will Smith was there, Martin Lawrence, Keenen Ivory Wayans, Chris Rock, Paul Mooney before he passed, Rick James before he passed, like everybody. And 2 days later, I got an audition for this movie, and Keenen was the director, Keenen Ivory Wayans. So I went back to Eddie Murphy, and I was like, Mr. Murphy, got this audition. Keenen is the director. He was just here 2 days ago. Could you put in a good word for me so that way, you know, it helped me get the role? And Eddie cursed at me for the first time in the 2-3 years of knowing him at that point. And he was like, what'd you say to me? Listen, let me tell you something. How you get this far? Because you worked hard for what you had, right? How did you get the Haunted Mansion? Because you worked hard, you auditioned, and you proved that you was the person for the job. You got everything that you acquired at this point through working hard and trying to beat out everybody else. So what do I look like now trying to give you a hand-me-out and you come this far? What kind of lesson would that be teaching you? And he's like, look, MJ, I'm gonna tell you this one time. Anything that a man gives you is never yours.
That's good.
Because it was given to you. But anything that you earn, no one can take from you because it's rightfully yours. And the things that a person give you, you need them to keep giving. The moment they stop giving, you high and dry. But the things that you earn, the things that you earned on your own is yours for life, and it's a gift that you can share with other people.
That's good.
Stuck with me to this day.
Wow.
To this
anything.
Day.
So the lesson was anything that someone gives you.
It's never yours.
Never yours.
It's never yours. Because you need that person to acquire what you got.
We have another question, and then I want to bring one of our partners from Philly, Franco Rosado, on to ask another question. But right now, we're going to ask Dallas White. Dallas White, please unmute your phone and ask Marc your question.
Hi, I'm Dallas. I'm also from New York. I'm a junior at Frank Sinatra School of the Arts High School in Queens. So my question for you is, what work have you done that has moved you the most emotionally? And by the way, I loved you in Brotherly Love a lot. So,
yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. That moved me the most emotionally. I would say this new movie that I have coming out called Fells High. I just shot it in December, and it's a deep story. So I wish I could go into it, but when it comes out, make sure you like, yeah, I gotta check that out. It's such a real story. I like real stories. Real stories always move me the most. But I would say other than fails, probably Notorious. Just because being on set, like having Biggie's mom there and all of the dudes that actually like grew up with him and worked with him, and we shooting certain scenes and we gotta cut the scene because they're over there crying out loud and like sniffling, like there were days that Biggie's mom had to leave set. Like I can't, she would literally say like, I can't sit here. I'm going to break down, and she'll leave set crying. So I would definitely say it's one of those, just because it's like seeing the impact that somebody like him still has on the people that he touched is a beautiful thing.
Franco Rosado, Ready for Life Theater.
Hey now. Thank you for all your words of wisdom, my brother.
Appreciate it, definitely.
I was gonna ask you to hook me up in one of your movies, but after your advice, I can't do the hookup because it's not gonna be mine. You messed me up with that one, man.
Dang, my bad.
But either you own or be owned is what I got from that. So thank you for that. I hear your convictions, my brother. Tonya and I go way back 20 years. I'm one of her ambassadors for the Iowa Graduate Campaign. And I believe that she stands by a lot of principles that you are sharing, and that we don't want to compromise our faith or family to just have fame and fortune. Mm-hmm. Have you had any challenges on the set with the director who wanted you to do something that wasn't right, and you had to be like, man, I don't know if I could do that. It goes against my principles. Or did you have to ever turn a role down because it was just too worldly and too crazy? How do you maintain your faith in such a challenging industry that celebrates sin? You feel what I'm saying? Like you the eyeball, if you're trying to be honest and true to self. I've been in situations where there were drugs all around and I didn't want to get high, or there's, situations where people were inviting me to go to Europe with them to do inappropriate things for a role. I said, man, that's disgusting. So I think a lot of people may be naive to how difficult Hollywood is to stay righteous, spiritual. How do you handle those situations?
I would say it kind of ties back to what I was hinting at earlier. I know who I am, right? And I stand strong in who I am. You're not going to change me because of this opportunity. Everything that I have now is a blessing from God. So if he's giving me everything I have now, ain't nothing you could take from me. Me saying no to you, that's not going to change the path that I'm on. If I say no to this role, I say no to this, and you try to blackball me, even if you're successful, then that just means that it wasn't meant to be, because everything that I've accomplished is a blessing. So the moment that I start looking at it and saying, well, this is all because of me and my hard work only, and I feel like I'm in a place to where I can now vary from the path that I've been on that helped me get here, then that's the moment you self-implode, So I have definitely been faced with a lot of those moments, man, like a lot of those situations. And it doesn't even faze me. It's because like, I know where I'm going, and there's several paths to get to where we want to go, and okay, this path isn't one of them because you want me to do this, and that's not the path I'm walking. But that's not going to change where I want to go. If there's a brick wall put right in the middle of the road that you're walking on, but you still got to get to the other side, what do? You find a way around it. Like, it's literally that simple. So yeah, I would say like when those situations arise, even if it's, I never even been tempted. It's always just been an instant thing for me where it's like, nah, I'm good. Y'all want me to do what? I literally have a rule with my agent. If it's anything crazy, right, and I list what is my idea of crazy, don't even call me about it. Don't call me about it. Like that, I'm not doing that. Even in Brotherly Love, the we just spoke about Brotherly Love, right? Brotherly Love, I was supposed to have, they tried to add a sex scene for me. And it was supposed to be like a nude sex scene that they put in like literally 2 days before we were shooting this party scene. And the producers came down, the directors came down, Marc, John, we really need this. It's gonna, and I was like, look, man, I'm not with it. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not doing that. My mom is gonna see this movie. She can see everybody else doing the nonsense. She's not gonna see me doing that. Like, cursing, all right, cool. That's hearsay. But all of that extra stuff, nah, we're not doing that. You know, so yeah, you just gotta put your foot down and trust the person that the man above to help me get to where I'm going and where I am right now. Nothing is big for him.
Well, he has certainly done that, and his hand has certainly been on you. What advice would you give any of the young people who are interested in a career in acting? What would the advice be for them?
Evaluate where you are right now. That's the first thing, right? Like, evaluate, and when I say where you are, I mean as far as your own journey and process. Acting is what any career, honestly, is all about discipline. That's the first thing. You got to be disciplined. Any career that you have to be disciplined, because you can work at something 4 or 5 years and not receive a dime. Whereas a job, you go in for these 8 hours and you receive your payment at the end of the week. There's instant gratification. But a career, there's no instant gratification. We don't know when the gratification comes. So you gotta analyze, like, where you are. Do you have the discipline to work on whatever it is you need to work on in order to get to where you need to be to start realistically having a career? That's the first thing. Second thing, don't create timetables for your success. You can't say, yeah, well, 2 years from now, I want to be on this project, and then feel like when 2 years comes and you haven't achieved that you failed. Like, rejection is one of the biggest things in this industry. We get rejected 1,000 times and we're told yes 3 times in our career, but it can shape a beautiful career. And I'll also say this, right? Don't be one of those people that only look for the bright side of the bright side of things in every outcome. Oh, I didn't get the role, but I got the callback, or I didn't get the role, or they didn't say this, but at least this time around, like, I was able to be seen. Don't be that person. Always look for the lesson. Because when you create reasons why you did a great job every time, you stop growing because you're not seeing what you actually have to do, right? So for me, like, if I audition for something and I don't get it, the first thing I do is, why didn't I get it? Okay, well, let's look at it realistically. Maybe I was too young, maybe I was too old, maybe I was too short, maybe I wasn't slim enough, maybe I was too slim. Okay, cool, those are whatever the reasons. What could I have done in order to take that reason out of the equation? What could I have brought to the table to where my height wasn't an issue, to where my weight, to where my skin color, to where my age or my accent? What could I have done to nullify the things that made them go with somebody else? And if you're that type of actor, you'll get very far, very fast, because you got to always look to grow. The person I am today should never be the same person I was 6 months ago, last year. You know, if I'm the same person I was 6 months ago, then that means I'm wasting a lot of time.
That is amazing advice. And, you know, I think that for all of us, it's really about this journey in life and becoming the best versions of ourselves. And I think that's what I hear you saying, is that as long as you continue to evolve and become the best version of yourself, you'll continue to work, because you're growing and you're becoming the better actor as you evolve. So that's good stuff. Well, I have a wild card question for you.
Oh, let's get it. I like wild cards. What's up? Talk to me.
If the earth was to explode and you could only take 2 people with you.
Oh, don't do that.
I am. And you better say what I want you to say. You got two people, and you done told me about these two people, so you better say it, or I'm gonna come over there. No, say whatever it is, whatever answer you want to give. If the Earth was supposed to explode, and there were two people that you could take, who would be the two people?
I would say my son, definitely, and probably my significant other at the time, right? Because if the Earth was going to explode, I can't take my mom. We got to continue the human race. Okay. I can't take my pops. We're going to die off in 30 years, you know? So I would have to take my significant other. I would have a duty to continue the human race, wherever it is that we survive in.
That's good right there. Y'all give it up, clap it up. That's a good answer. Because I was looking for you to say, well, because my mom and my dad instilled so much in me. But your answer was better. Thank you so much.
They made me a critical thinker. After I say my pops, he would have been like, you could have chose any two people and you brought me. It would be like, Dad, man, you don't listen. Was you thinking?
Was you thinking, right? So you saved him, but now he's fussing you out for the next 30 years.
For real.
Yep. I hear you. Well, Marc, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking to you. You are just the epitome of what it means to grow and to develop and to be the best version of yourself. And I know this journey is just beginning for you. So tell us what's next. What's next for Marc John Jefferies?
Growth. That's it. That's literally how I kind of live my life, right? I literally look for ways to grow. I have movies coming out. I'm on City on a Hill. I'm producing now. I'm about to start writing two new projects that I actually want to see like all the way through. I got my acting school. I'm stepping over into real estate. I'm about to like start building a company for my son. I'm just looking for new things, new ways to grow. That's my life, man. And if I keep focusing on all the ways to grow today, imagine who I will be tomorrow. Like, that's the beauty of it. If I'm spending every present day trying to grow, imagine who I'm gonna be in 20 years. You know, so, and that's something to the students, right? If you spending this K through 12 in school and in college, just trying to grow, discipline, learn, actually utilizing the time, imagine who you're going to be at 22, 23 years old, 24. Like, imagine who you can be. Imagine what you can do. Imagine what will be at your disposal compared to those who are sitting around scribbling and on Instagram or not even taking in the things that they learn. You know, you're going to spend the time regardless. So if I could spend 12 years and become something amazing and spend 12 years and then still have 10, 15 more years of work to do once I'm done with that 12, I think I'll take the first one, you know? So for me, I'm anxious to get to my 40s because I really want to see like what I'm going to look like at that age. Yeah.
Well, Marc John Jefferies, eyes have not seen and ears have not heard all the good things that are prepared for you. And I want to just say to you, thank you for being a guest on In the Class. So can y'all unmute your phones and clap it up for this young man? I am so excited.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Nice. God bless.
Talk to you soon, guys. See y'all in the classroom next time.